Good morning, students. Welcome to the second session on report writing. In the previous session, we have seen what report writing is. A report is a document written for a particular audience with a particular purpose. It's always precise and sharp. A report is written in a simple language. It is factual. We have seen in detail the characteristics of a report. It's always objective. No report writer brings in his personal elements. It is objective. It is just the logical representation of facts. We have seen different kinds of reports. Sometimes reports are written for academic purposes. At times for business purposes. There are technical reports. There are reports written by the police. We have seen FIRs. We have seen progress reports. So there are different kinds of reports. The features of the reports we have to keep in mind. Logical order must be followed. It should be written in a simple language and it should always be factual. Now, we have also discussed what you study in your second PUC, what kind of report writing you do. You have to write a report based on the data provided to you. Data is provided by means of a bar graph or a pie chart or a line graph. In the previous session, we have seen a bar graph and we have seen the details represented on the graph, and then based on that we have seen a model report. We have written a model report. Today, let us deal with a pie chart. Let us see how a report can be written based on a pie chart. Remember this in your mind. Any report should have an introduction, then there should be the body of the report, and then there should be a conclusion. And again, introduction and conclusion, it is not required in detail. You need not write it in detail, but it should be there. So let us see what a pie chart is. A pie chart shows relationships between parts to a whole. And the whole is contained in a circle, or it is called as a pie, and it is divided into appropriate proportions. We just remember a pizza. See, a pizza, if you order a regular pizza, it is divided into 4 slices. We have a feeling that all the 4 slices are of equal size. But just observe the pizza, some slices may be slightly bigger than the other ones. Which means, though we feel that each slice occupies 25% of the circle, it need not be exactly so. Some may occupy 28% and some pizza slices occupy only 22% of the circle. In the same way, a pie or a pie chart gives space for the representation of data, and it is in percentage that you find the data being represented on a pie chart. Let us see this with the help of an example. I have a question for you, and it is these kind of questions that you find in your examination paper. Let me read the question. The pie chart below illustrates how internet users aged 16 plus prefer to access the internet at home and in other places. Summarize the information in the pie chart and write a report in about 120 words. So you have a pie chart here, and what does the pie chart represent? The pie chart tells us about the people using internet in various devices. So a survey is conducted among people who were above 16 years of age, and which devices did they prefer? This was recorded, and the findings of the survey is represented on a pie chart. So there are mainly 4 devices that the people preferred. Some preferred computer desktops, some preferred tablets, some preferred smartphones, and some preferred laptops. So it is understood that people use internet at home as well as outside. And which devices did they prefer? That is recorded. So we are going to write a report by summarizing our understanding, by summarizing what we have found on this pie chart. Let us see the representation. See, the largest part occupies 33%. So what does it say? It says that 33% of the people aged 16 and above, they prefer to use a smartphone to use internet. So to surf on the internet, 33% preferred smartphone. Now, just close to it, 30% prefer to use laptops. 14% preferred to use desktops to use internet, and 19% preferred to surf internet on tablets. And there are some other devices, just 4%. So this pie chart tells that there are 5 components. The percentage is mentioned. Now we have to write a report based on it. What have we understood? How do we interpret this pie chart? So let us read the report. I have prepared a report based on our conclusions. You just see this. Just let us have a reading of that. The pie chart shows the results of a survey in which people aged 16 and over were asked about their preferred devices for accessing the internet. The question referred to going online at home and in other places. Participants mentioned 4 devices in their answers: a smartphone, a laptop, a tablet, and a desktop computer. So this is the introduction. The introduction speaks about what the report is. The report is about people going online at home and in other places, and the devices that they prefer to use while going online. And again, this is the result of a survey. So all these 3 details are written in 3 sentences, and the devices, 4 main devices people have preferred, and that is written. All the 3 sentences introduce the report. Next is the interpretation part. From the pie chart, it is clear that the majority of participants prefer to use smartphones and laptops, with just 3% difference between the two. See, one of the major features of report writing is this: you have to compare and contrast different figures. See here, most of the people preferred laptops and smartphones, and the difference is just 3%. 33% preferred smartphones and 30% preferred to use laptops. So that is summarized. Nearly a third of participants preferred to go online with a smartphone. 1/3 of the people, 33% is 1/3. Roughly 1/3. So 1/3 of the people, they like to go online using a smartphone. 30% like to use a laptop. A desktop computer accounts for 14% of users' preferred devices. Only a small minority prefer a device other than these main 4. So whatever we have seen on the pie chart, whatever is available, those details we have written in the form of sentences in the body of the report. Now let us see the conclusion. In conclusion, since mobile and portable devices are the most popular choices, it's clear that many participants are accessing the internet outside their homes. That is one conclusion. People use internet not just when they are at home, but also while being outside. And what tells us this? They prefer to use portable devices. Very few people prefer to use laptops, only 14%. Others prefer to use either smartphones or laptops or tablets. So this says that they prefer to use internet even outside. They can carry these devices while they go out. That is one of the important conclusions. The desktop computer is the least popular of the 4 main devices. That is another conclusion. In future, we can probably expect to see more and more people accessing the internet with smartphones as their preferred choice. So now smartphone has got the largest share in this pie chart, 33%. So another conclusion is that in future also, which is easy to carry, a laptop or a smartphone? Definitely a smartphone. So people may prefer to use a smartphone, and there are chances that more people would prefer to use smartphones. So these are the conclusions. So there is an introduction, then there is the body, then there is the conclusion. So now hope that you understood how to interpret the data on pie chart. See, of all the 3 graphs given to you, all the 3 are pictorial representations. Of all the 3, it's always easy to interpret the data on a pie chart. So hope it is clear to you. Now let us see how to write a report based on a line graph. You know what a line graph is. Line graphs are diagrams that represent data, that present data using dots and lines. And as in the case of bar graphs, there is a vertical line and there is a horizontal line also. And in the form of dots or lines, data would be represented. So here is the line graph. The question is, the graph below shows how people buy music. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features and write a report in about 120 words. It's very clear. Question will always be the same. There is a survey conducted and the survey is regarding how do people buy music. Do they buy music by means of CDs? See, earlier times there were cassettes. These days cassettes are not there. You have the 3 options as represented on this line graph: CDs, downloads and streams. See how mobiles have become popular, you know. These days, no one prefers to buy stereos and keep inside the houses. Even in a car, you find that you just plug in your mobile and play the music that you like. You can select it on your mobile and then just go for it. So this is the preference. Just see the title, percentage of total music sales by method. There are 3 methods. One is CDs purchased, one is downloads and one is streams. And it is based on a survey conducted between 2011 and 2018. And percentage of sales is represented. Okay, so 8 years taken into consideration, and what is the flow that we find? Do people prefer to buy CDs more, or do people go for downloads, or do they prefer these streaming platforms? Now let us just start reading the graph. Let us start interpreting the graph. See, you will find when you interpret the graph, what do you find? See, in 2011, people prefer to buy CDs. 60% of the sales of music was through CDs. And now see 2018, it has been dwindling. In 2018, you find that that is the least preferred method. And see, in 2011, look at streams. Hardly 5% you would find. Hardly 5% of the people prefer to buy streams, and you find that it's steadily going up. And in 2018, you find that more than 40% of the people prefer to buy music through streams. And see now downloads. In 2011, 30% of the music sales was by means of download, it has gone up, and from 2014 you find it is coming down, and in 2018 you find that just 35% prefer to go for downloads. So this is what we have understood. Now let us write a report based on this. So this is how we begin. The graph illustrates trends in music buying habits between 2011 and 2018. It presents three different methods: streaming, downloading and buying CDs. So it's very clear. You just look at the x-axis between 2011 and 2018. What are the different buying habits of the people with respect to buying music that we have mentioned? And then the three methods are also mentioned in the introductory part. There are three methods: streaming, downloading and buying CDs. Overall, both downloads and physical sales of music have steadily declined. So what do you mean by physical sales of music? By means of CD. When you download or when you go for streaming, you don't find it in your hand, whereas CD you can find it in your hand. So both downloads and CDs, their sales have been declining. The latter has slumped since 2011, while the downturn for the former began in 2014. So what is that latter? Latter speaks about CDs, and since 2011 you find that the sales of the CDs is going down, is on decline. And what about the former? The former refers to the downloads, and it has gone up, and from 2014 you find it in declining way. However, there has been a sharp rise in people streaming music since 2013. Now up to 2013 you find streaming was not a much preferred method of buying music, but from 2013 you find a steady rise. So that is also mentioned. There are three ways in which it is represented, all the three taken into consideration, and the overall findings is represented in the beginning here. In 2011, the majority of music sales were of CDs at 55% of all sales. In contrast, streaming was not common at all at only 5%. This point we have already discussed. Initially people preferred buying CDs and accounted for 55% of the sales, and streaming was only 5%. Although people had started to download music, it only represented 35% of sales. As sales of CDs began to fall, downloads started to rise. Now you bring in this comparison. When people stopped buying CDs, they started buying downloads. So one is responsible for the growth of the other. They rose steadily and downloads overtook physical sales in mid 2013. So you find downfall starting in 2013. During the same period, streaming doubled to 10%, but then it started to grow more dramatically. So now the growth of streaming is explained by means of percentage as it is represented on the graph. Downloads peaked in 2014 at about 43% of sales, but fell to 30% by 2018. So this is what we find with respect to download. There was a rise initially, and then from 2014 there is a decline in the sales of downloads. During the same period, streaming doubled to 10%, but then it started to grow more dramatically. So it's just that the streaming was on the rise. So in the body of the report, we have written in detail our interpretation of the graph. Now let us move on to the conclusion. Downloads peaked in 2014 at about 43% of sales, but fell to 30% by 2018. This was slightly higher than physical sales, which shrank to 25%. Streaming, on the other hand, overtook both of them and accounted for just over 40% of sales in 2018. So what is the conclusion? Downloads have come down and what is the percentage that they have in 2018, and then what about the physical sales, what about the CDs, and then streaming, which overtook, that is the pattern, streaming which was just 5% in 2011, it just overtook the other means and then accounted for 40% of sales in 2018. This is our conclusion. So we have written introduction, then the body, and then the conclusion. So dear students, we have seen 3 examples of report writing. We have seen how to write a report based on bar graph, pie chart, and line graph. And if you go through the previous year's question papers, you would find that the most commonly asked question is about bar graphs. You would be given a bar graph and you have to interpret the data and then go for writing a report. There is a choice between report writing and speech writing. Whichever area you are comfortable with, you take that. Now remember these points while writing a report. It should be objective, it should be factual, there should be a comparison and contrast of the different figures provided to you on the graph, and you should write an introduction, then the body, and then the conclusion. So hope report writing is clear to you, and we can do more examples with respect to this area of report writing in our classrooms. You have got some examples in your workbook, and please try to do the report writing given there. Thank you.